Hey, look at that. There's the sun. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I was thinking today, I am here to equip people, to train you, to equip you, because I keep getting trained and equipped. And so it's just, I always want to give to others what's given to me. And I've been a psychologist the last 20 plus years, so I got my doctorate before that. That's what that means. So today in our training, what I was getting, because I always, ask what to teach, what's best to teach. Let's go over. Oh wait, that guy's music is on. I'll go over here. And so, that saying, God does not call the qualified, but he qualifies the called. Like he qualifies us. He equips us with what we need. And don't worry, if you don't believe in God, it's fine. However you're here. Like I welcome all people, wherever you are. I'm just gonna sit down right here. I'm not sitting by the tree, but I want to sit in the sun. So, just let's take a second to get present. Wherever you are. I'll show you the tree again. It always calms me down. See the wind moving in it? It's like, that's like we are spirit, and we are meant to live in spirit and in truth. We are a soul in a body. And so, all right, so here's how it works. Let's break it down. I was hearing the other day, someone was teaching that it's not like God is the divine love. God is divine love, right? But it's not like God is up in the sky going, you horrible person, how dare you do that one horrible thing? I hate you. It's kind of, it's not making light of any of that stuff, because it's like you wouldn't want your child to like snort some kind of drug. You know what I mean? You wouldn't want them to do that. But it's kind of like, if I just got used to taking shortcuts in my life, and I got used to, let's say, talking behind everyone's back, and then what happens, what this guy was describing for us is like, you start justifying it. And then as you start justifying whatever your behavior is, like, if I was having a drink after work every day, and then I started going into 3 drinks or whatever, and then I just couldn't control myself, and oh, look at that little bird, look. Let's see if I get it. I can't zoom in this way. It was right next to us. If I turned it into that, and I kept indulging, and then I kept excusing, and then what it does is it hardens your heart. It blinds your eyes. The things that the word sin is to miss the mark, to miss the point of life, to miss why we're here and what we are created to become. Again, if we're meant to become this giant tree, and we just stay in seed form, and we keep acting like we're the tree, acting all self-righteous, and that we become this beautiful thing, or we're the caterpillar still, and we never were willing to go in the cocoon and become the butterfly, and we're just acting like we're a butterfly, but we don't really know that we haven't done the transformation yet. It's like there's Christ was teaching, you know, and even if you look at him just like as a master teacher, you know, or as a loving being that was wise, he said, you know, you must be born again. Like you're born once of the flesh, you must be born of the spirit. What does it mean to be born of the spirit? What does this mean? And Jesus quoted the scripture saying from Isaiah, I think it says, you know, a bruised reed I will not break. Like, God is so loving and so patient with us. I've had like the worst faults of myself come up and I didn't even know, you know, you can see it so clearly in other people. You're like, those a-holes or whatever, you know what I mean? Those horrible people. I don't know if kids are around, so like I filter myself, you know, those horrible people. How could they treat me in such a horrible, despicable way? You know, how could they betray me so badly? And then it's like, well, you're the one that kept thinking you deserved that, or you would have walked away and you didn't, you know, you're the one who still believed underneath that you had to be loyal to them. You know, it's not my fault that I was trained and programmed that I had to be loyal to people that walked on me. You know, that's just part of my childhood, but that is not an excuse. I was never meant to treat myself that way. You're not meant to treat yourself that way. You are beloved and cherished, and you're wild and, you know, full of divine. God made you. You're made in the image and likeness of God. And so look at your essence. Look at you before you were given a name. Be present in that you. That's beyond your skin color or your religion or anything, you know? You're the divine, the being, the soul that God made, that you're in this body, and all of these things that we are trained to walk in a way of integrity, to walk in a way of honor, to walk in a way that respects that we are made, we come out of God, that respects that every person came out of God, that every person is a soul, that, you know, don't judge them for where they are, and yet also hold people accountable and have boundaries, because you're not meant to, you know, I think of Paul. Paul was persecuting the church and standing by and arresting Christians. The Saint Paul, you know, before he became sainted, he was arresting them and having them killed. You know, they were stoned. Saint Stephen was the first martyr after Christ, and he was killed right in front of Paul. It says he was at his feet. You know what I mean? I don't know if Paul was the one stoning him or not, but he was sanctioning it and getting the list of all these people. And then he had a conversion on Damascus Road. And Saint Simeon, I think it's Simeon. No, it's not Saint Simeon. That's who received Christ. It's a different one. But he was told, Saul's going to come looking for you, and he's blind, and you got to heal him of his blindness. And he's like, excuse me, God, are you sure you're talking about the right guy? Because this guy is the one that's been persecuting the Christians and having them arrested and killed. It can't be the right guy, you know? And so I was just hearing a lesson, and they were talking about how, you know, nope, that's the guy I chose. That's how I feel, you know? Sometimes when I'm in my right mind and I see like how much God has transformed me. I went to dinner with one of my guy friends last night, and he was like, oh, I can't be like you. You're so open on your videos and everything, you know? And he's like, you're so, you know, open to do that. I'm like, I'm not open. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that because I'm called to do that. Because I know that it will help other people for me to be authentic. And I trust that it doesn't matter who I was in the past. That's not who I am anymore. And that's in God's hands, divine love's hands, to keep transforming me and to keep calling me into a higher and higher life. And so I can be open about it. It doesn't mean I need to tell everybody everything, you know. I do my best to wait and to have some kind of filter and tell what I'm being asked to tell and not hold back in any way from that. But because I have a heart, I have a heart, not just my heart necklace. I have a heart and my heart scarf. I want you to know love really, really deeply. I want you to feel it, to know it in your being. I want whatever pain you've had in your past to be released, to be let go of, to and so know that, you know, there's a verse that says, be not conformed to this world. And what I learned in my psychology training is that this world is the world you grew up in. You know, that's the lens you learn to see the world in. If you grew up in a certain family, you have certain eyes and you see the world that way. And so do not be conformed to the world, to stay loyal to old ways of childhood. Like I was taught I had to be loyal, you know. I was just telling the story in a different video I made for a soul song, that I had a dream where I was fighting a dragon. Maybe I said it in the last video, with my dad. And then I realized this dragon is just it was just a mouse or something small, and a frog or something, and it turned into this dragon. But this wasn't even my dragon to fight. It was my father's dragon. And I told him the dream afterwards. It's worth repeating so you guys understand this imagery. I was thanking God last night that this image came to me, that I recalled the dream, you know. Because I told him, and he's like, well, you're family, you ought to fight the dragon with me. I'm like, oh no, that's your dragon. I'm not helping you grow as a person when I'm fighting your dragon. That's not even a dragon. You've turned it into a dragon by not looking at it, by not facing it, by not dealing with it. It's become a dragon for you. Just like I have this feeling right now. I just want you guys to know so much. I want you to know. I had this monkey on my back, you call it like that. I had this thing that I never thought I could get rid of. I always just thought it would be this darkness that was hanging around me. But I finally gave it up. Like I'd given it up 1,000 times in different ways. But this one time was just like that last bit. It is like the dragon. If you read The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, C.S. Lewis's, Eustace gets dragoned and then Aslan de-dragons him. And he just says, it's like Aslan puts his claws in and goes way thick, like 6 layers of dragon deep, and pulls it off. He's like pulling off a scab, and you thought you were doing it, but you couldn't do it like the divine love could, like Aslan could. And you're de-dragoned, and you're like so glad to be back in your wimpy body, you know, and not a dragon anymore. It was like that. It's like I thought I always had to live with being, you know, a dragon, having this loyalty to keep letting someone be around that was allowed to step on me. And finally I put a door, and I put Jesus at the door. I asked Jesus, and it's like you can look at it like this aspect of yourself, because Christ is in us. I won't go into all the theology of that, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And so it's like, oh no, anytime now I feel, because I'm really sensitive in spirit, I feel that energy approaching me. I'm like, you get to face Jesus, not me. Like, I put a bouncer on the door, you know? And, but it's kind of like this. It's like you're still having to learn to die to a part of yourself, and to come back to the oneness. This is the X and the O, you know? Is like every day you die to yourself, because I had to realize that I was still getting a high. I was still feeling loyal. I was still pleasing my dad in a way to let this these kind of people stay in my life and keep feeding off of me, because I felt sorry for them in the wrong way, you know? Just like feeling sorry that my dad had to face a dragon. And it's like, wait, you know, it's like divine love showed me behind the curtain. Like, that's a man. That's not the Wizard of Oz. That's just a mouse that, from believing in his cowardice, believing that God couldn't equip him to face that dragon and turn it back into a mouse, or cut off the head of the dragon, or cut off the head of the 7 dragons, or whatever is there, that my dad could have grown in faith to face that thing. And me keep taking it was a disservice, and me to keep allowing someone who's disrespecting me to keep having access to my life is disrespectful to the being God created us to be, you know? And it hardens your heart and it blinds your eyes. It's just like at the beginning of this video, I was talking about sin. You grow callous to this part of yourself. Like, I was cleaning my closet yesterday and really, really dreading it. It was like tedious work, you know? But I'm just bringing it up so you guys can see this in your own life, because it's like, I saw how critical I was before to myself, and how I'd be like, why were you holding on to that? That's so dumb, and blah, blah, blah. And then yesterday, I wasn't saying any unkind words to myself, and it was pleasant. And I was like, wow, it's really nice to be around myself. It's like, once I released that person who was not choosing for whatever reason to be respectful in my life, I released that part of myself that wouldn't be held accountable and was being disrespectful to myself. It was also divine love was transforming that in me at the same time. I hope so much that this gave you truth and wisdom. I use myself as an example, just as a template for all of us to use, how to turn from these things in our life, and how, like, when you let go of it, you feel like you're gonna have nothing. That's why we're afraid to let go. That's why we hold on so tight. But this gives you the opportunity to have so much more, to have so much more love, so much more compassion, so much more tenderness, so much more faith. You have faith that divine love really does love you. You didn't risk that before because you held on to what you thought was going to give you an immediate high, you know? And then you became its slave. I wish you so much love. Much love. Share, comment, engage, be well, be healed, be whole. Much peace.